Okay, Niantic, I really have to say I have no fucking clue what you're doing. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest, fan of Pokemon Go ever. I've been enjoying it, I'll say that, but I really don't know what the fuck you are doing. You have the opportunity to have the most successful mobile app in the history of mankind sitting in your hands. Like, you don't even have to work for it at this point. You already have the rights, you have the potential, and yet somehow you continuously fuck it up time and time again. I really don't know what's going on with you, Niantic. In fact, no one does, because you don't speak to your fan base, you don't speak to your players, you don't do anything for that matter. In fact, what you do is go directly against everything that they ask for, and I understand you don't necessarily have the ability to implement everything everyone wants, because that's completely unrealistic. But the problem here is not the content of the game, but the way you're handling public relations.
That boy ain't nothing but trouble.
Hey, what's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about the whole situation with fucking Niantic and Pokemon Go, since, that's a hot topic right now, and I haven't seen a ton of people on YouTube talking about it, and maybe that's just because I'm looking in the wrong place. I don't fucking know, man. But regardless, I feel like I'm going to put in a few cents on this one, since, I play the game. I'm not the biggest fan of the game, but honestly, I do enjoy it, and I think the way that the situation is being handled by Niantic is completely fucking ridiculous. Like, for fuck's sake, what in the hell is going on here? I don't know, but the fact is no one knows because they haven't said jack shit. So the most recent patch, which I don't remember which version it was exactly, and nor is that really relevant, but the most recent patch removed a feature that has been long broken, probably for a month or so now, the 3-footprint glitch, or bug as they call it, which I don't even think is necessarily a bug. I'm pretty sure they switched off the footprint system from their server's end or whatever to reduce server load and try to stabilize things, and they did this rather than increasing the number of servers they have available for players to access. Maybe this is just because it's a quicker solution than integrating more servers into their whole ecosystem or whatever, but the fact is, ever since they did switch off those footprints, the servers have stabilized a lot, and understandably so. I'm not going to go into exactly why I think that was causing such a big issue, but regardless, if you know anything about how the game has been working up until this point, it would make sense. And that's fine, honestly. The fact is the servers have gotten a lot more stable, and there have been alternatives to finding the dankest Pokemon in your area, such as Pokevision, and I don't know, there are probably other sites, but Pokevision was the best. And now, of course, you're wondering, why do you say it was the best, my Negro? Why the fuck do you say it was the best? Isn't it still around? No, it's fucking not. They fucking season desisted their dumbasses, and they're like, fuck you, we're not gonna fix the footprint system, and you gotta go fucking hang yourself, whore. What are they thinking? Like, I understand that they had to take certain parts of the game offline while they figure shit out, but the fact is, they then immediately went and disabled all of the alternative outside sources to get this shit working again. Like, what the fuck? Why do you do this, Niantic? Honestly, do you even have a PR department? Do you have a single PR person? Do they know what the fuck they're doing? Because honestly, again, you have the biggest opportunity in the history of mobile gaming to be the most successful app on every platform, and yet you're fucking it up repeatedly. Why do you do this? Oh, that was fucking weak. But regardless, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know why you're doing it. No one does. And the opportunity that you're presented with here is bigger than anything anyone has ever been given, and for some reason, you're making it seem like it's so difficult to do. And I understand mobile development and just app development in general, regardless of platform, can be very difficult, and you obviously are taking on something that is a lot larger in scale than anything really attempted by anyone before other than yourselves, because fucking whatever that fucking app before this was called, Ingress, that's his fucking name, Ingress, yes. That one did basically the same thing with a lot more features, and it seemed like it went okay. But regardless, I'll give you some credit. You're taking on something a lot bigger than what you've ever done before. That's fine. It takes effort, and I understand that. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded you guys waiting a little bit longer and trying to figure some of this shit out before you release the app, because there were server stability issues in the beta and alpha builds, as even that was a very much smaller player base, and you were still having trouble. And I perfectly understand that it takes time to fix these problems. But the problem that I have with you, Niantic, is you don't fucking talk to anyone. Like, the whole public relations thing, and I understand at this point that the damage is already done and there's very little they can do to fix it. They can try to sidestep or like step back on some of their mistakes and make it better. But to begin with, I don't understand why before they release patches like this that completely remove key points of the game to the point where people are getting refunds for everything they've ever purchased in this game, I don't understand why they don't at least address the issues that are being brought up, because it's really not hard to have someone go forward and say, "Oh, I am so very sorry, my friend. I am very, very apologetic, and we have fucked up our game. We did not expect it to go this way, and we are trying to fix our mistakes. It might be a little bit, and I really apologize. We had to take a certain part of the game offline. Basically, we had to take the part of the game offline that makes it fun in order to fix our mistakes. Some of the stuff still works, but for now, the tracking is not gonna be in the game, so it says that you can do that on the App Store and there are pictures of it, but it is not in the game anymore. Like, for fuck's sake, I'm sorry, this is our fault. We have to take it offline till we fix it, okay? Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Peace out, my dudes. But no, instead they fucking just break it and remove everything. They the patch notes were just like fucking little bullet point, like, oh yeah, we removed the footprint system. I'm sorry, we removed it. It's gone forever. This is something we didn't really want to mention. We put it in little text underneath one of them. Or also minor text fixes, because we know you guys fucking love those. This doesn't fucking make any sense to me. Again, it's not hard to just simply go and talk to your fan base, or just put out a little like press statement or press release, whatever the fuck, and just say, okay, we've realized we have some issues, we're taking certain parts down while we fix the game. We hope you guys understand, because honestly, as much as the fan base is kind of rabid and crazy, I do think the majority of us, and I know myself included, would understand if they went and said, oh, I'm sorry, there's some of these things are broken and we have to fix them. It might take a little bit, so we're going to remove them from the game and re-implement them once they are fully functional. And the fact is, the footprint system, while it kind of was shitty, and I really wish they just showed distances instead, it did work for a little while, especially when I first started playing the game, when the server load wasn't crazy heavy and the footprints were actually functioning before they took them offline. They actually worked okay. Seeing the distances was pretty damn good. Like, it wasn't terrible. They did have a system that could be re-implemented once they actually add more fucking servers, but they just have seemed to be refusing to do that. And it's not like they don't have the money. The amount of money that they've made off of this game is absolutely ludicrous. And again, I could bring back the point of they have the opportunity to make the most successful game in the history of the mobile market, and yet for some reason, with all this cash flowing into them, and I understand some of it's going to Nintendo and some of it's going to whatever, the fucking Game Freak, and I understand that to its fullest, but the fact is, even their cut of the revenue, which is probably a good portion of it, not gonna lie, considering they made the app, is still more than enough to add some server infrastructure to make the game more stable. And I understand that in and of itself would take some time, but the fact is they've had more than enough time to do that, and they could have, even if they had been like, oh, the servers are gonna be offline for a few hours while we integrate the new servers, that's fine. Honestly, games do that all the time. Like, if you go back and look at fucking, like, the launch of Destiny, that console game that everyone doesn't care about anymore, but is actually pretty fucking fun. But regardless, they aren't doing this for whatever fuck all reason. They're refusing to talk to their community. The few things they do release or whatever are very vague, and they don't actually really address any of the concerns being thrown at them. In fact, it's gone so far as to when you file a complaint on their website, it simply returns a response saying, this email is not monitored. please go fuck yourself and go talk to this other email. So of course I could go into the fact that all of that is a complete violation of the Google Terms of Service, which it is, but honestly that's been done to death. And that's a complete circle jerk on the subreddit. And to be honest, I don't even have an Android phone. I use iOS, but regardless, the same rules still apply. There have to be a way to file complaints, and there isn't one, because when you send in a complaint, it just says it's an unmonitored inbox. I'd hate to see what that fucking inbox actually looks like if I were to log into it. Good God, it would be absurd. I feel like my computer would just fucking crash and die. Anyways, to round out this little rant of mine, hopefully it hasn't been too ridiculous, but to round this all out, it seems like Niantic has, well, they've already done a ton of damage, and they're probably one of the most hated companies in existence right now. Not sure why they've let it get this far, but honestly, all they have to do is, they don't even have to do it completely frequently, like maybe once a week, have someone come out and say, oh, this is what we're doing, here's addressing some of your claims or your, accusations or whatever. Here we are talking about some of your problems and your issues you've been having. Obviously, there's a ton of work we have to do to make things work, but really all they have to do is hire one person to just go out into social media and just say a few things like, please, we're working on these, we're working on that, and we're gonna be working on it for a while, like it's fine. Like honestly, the fact is they released an app that was woefully under-equipped to handle what it needed to handle, and that's kind of par for the course with big releases like this. There isn't really a ton they can do, but regardless, all they have to do is talk. It ain't fucking hard. I don't understand why this is such a problem. But then again, people have said bad things about Niantic when people would play incest, and apparently people would suggest things for people to add into Ingress, and they wouldn't listen to the player suggestions, which is fine. They don't have to add things that people want in the game, but whatever, they just completely buttfuck their audience and their fan base, and they don't listen, which is pretty par for the course apparently for Niantic. Isn't that great, guys? Why the fuck did Nintendo and Game Freak give them the rights? Like, of all people, like, I understand that Niantic has like history with mobile development, but they've literally made like one fucking game. Like, why did they do that? Like, who's like, oh yeah, Niantic, here you go. Here's all the fucking Pokemon, dude.